Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Rachel Horrocks-Birss from the Academic Skills Centre at the University of Dundee, and today I'm going to talk briefly about where you put your citations in a sentence. So firstly, just want to address the question, why cite? So what is the purpose of the citations that you're asked to put in the middle of your sentence? Firstly, of course, the importance of citations is about giving credit to your source. So making sure that when you use someone else's words or someone else's ideas or information, that you are indeed giving credit to that source. The point of a citation, though, specifically, so that those things in parentheses or sometimes in footnotes that you put in your sentences in your essay, is that it helps the reader match the citation, so the use of the source in your essay, to the reference list at the end of your essay. So that's the purpose of the citation specifically. So a few example citations of what this can look like. So in this instance, it says Smith, 2018, describes penguins as the friendliest kind of bird. So in this case, you have the author's name as part of the sentence. Smith describes penguins as the friendliest kind of bird. And then you have the citation, so the year of Smith's article in parentheses afterwards. So that's one way of doing it. If you want the author's name to be in your sentence, you can put the author's name and then the year of the article in parentheses afterwards. But what if you don't want the author's name to be in your sentence? In this case, you might do something more like this. So critics have often described penguins as incredibly friendly, Smith, 2018. So that way you have your sentence about the way critics think, followed by one example, so the citation Smith, 2018, and the full stop afterwards. That's quite a common way of citing. Another way goes like this. So a central characteristic of penguins is their friendliness, Smith, 2018. In that case, you're just mentioning a fact about penguins, that they are friendly, and you're providing a source to back it up. Any one of these three things is fine. The first one highlights who it is specifically who is making the claim, which is great if your source is someone important or if you want to draw attention to who's making the claim specifically. So that works well. In that case, you give the author's last name and the year of their article in parentheses afterwards. The other two are if the title of the author of the source isn't the most important aspect of the source. Perhaps you're just wanting to make a claim like critics' opinions about penguins or just the penguin's friendliness, and you want to provide some evidence afterwards. In that case, just write your sentence and then put the citation at the end. The author's last name, a comma, the year, and close the parentheses, and then put the full stop there. So that's how you would cite in Harvard. I want to highlight a few common mistakes before we close. So these are things that I see often in essays, ways that students have cited that aren't quite correct. One looks like this. So putting the whole thing, Smith 2018 describes penguins as the friendliest kind of bird. As we looked at on the previous slide, if the author's last name is part of your sentence, so Smith describes penguins, etc., then the author's last name shouldn't be in parentheses. So this should be Smith and then 2018 in the brackets, and then describes penguins. So if the author's last name is part of your sentence, leave it as part of your sentence, don't put it in the parentheses. Another common mistake goes like this. So like critics have often described penguins as incredibly friendly, then Smith 2018. In this case, that someone has just forgot the parentheses basically. If you're putting a citation at the end of your sentence, you always want to stick it in parentheses rather than having the sentence kind of flow into the citation, because that's a little bit messy and confusing about what's your sentence and what's your citation. So in this case, you just put brackets around Smith 2018 and then put a comma between Smith and 2018 as well. Another option is like this, where oftentimes what I'll see is a full sentence with a full stop and then the citation afterwards. So you want to make sure that your citation is indeed in the sentence. So critics have often described penguins as incredibly friendly, and then right afterwards, no punctuation, just put Smith, 2018, and then the full stop after the citation. So it makes clear that the citation belongs to that sentence rather than to the next sentence. One final example here, Smith says that penguins are very friendly, 2018. This is almost right, but as we talked about in the previous slide, if you have the author's name in your sentence, you want to put the year in parentheses right after the author's name. So remember, Smith, 2018, says that penguins are very friendly. So just move that 2018 in parentheses up to the beginning of the sentence. So those are a few common mistakes. maybe give those a look over, flip back to the previous slide, look at how it's done correctly. Citations are one of those things that are a little bit fiddly and take a little while to get used to, but once you're used to it, it's really easy and a no-brainer. So finally, just to close, if you have any questions, feel free to email the Academic Skills Centre at ask@dundee.ac.uk, and we'll be happy to get back to you with any referencing questions. So good luck.